Welcome to Trading Lounge and the commodities, starting with Bitcoin here, and we're on the daily chart, and we're looking at wave 1 with an ABC for wave 2 here, and then we're up for wave 1 and back for wave 2. And in this section here from wave 2 here, we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 up here for around the 80,000 for wave 3, and then wave 4, and then up for wave 5. Not sure where my wave 5's gone. There it is over here. Just tuck it in here a bit. Now there is the case for putting this particular wave 3 from here as 1, 2 onto here, but the problem with that is that this one here is still slightly shorter than wave 1. In some cases, when you look at other markets, it looks logical to put this here as wave 3. So it's a little bit debatable at this stage. Not that it's going to make much difference, because all of these here are wave 4s here, so there'll be all these are 1s and 2s, and these are 4s and 5s here. So there won't be a huge difference within all of that. But that's sort of the bigger picture at this point. Now, we have been trading long off this little low in through here. So let's go in to my other charting program and have a look at that for a moment. So this is got the trading levels on it. So the 65 is a medium level, and then we've got 80 as a major level up here. So we're looking at wave 3 here with an ABC for wave 4. It doesn't really conclude nicely as a wave 1 up here. I'll grant that as it's more like an ABC pattern, but many other markets have got 5 waves up there, so I'm making a little bit of an assumption. But the situation is that the wave 4 here may not be finished, and we can look at wave 4. We'd still need to move up another point, but we're above the 61.8% retracement level from the high to the low here anyway. But the other way to look at this would be an ABC here, an A and a B and a C wave up here for the B wave, and then down for the C wave over here. So that's quite doable as well. But I'm going to go with this. I'm going to stay with this for the time being. We can lift the stop up on this long trade here, so you can bring that up to break even at least at this point. Don't take it too far up here, because we're not done with certain levels up at that point. I'll just put that there, and I'll adjust that on the crypto portfolio. And yeah, so from here as 1 and 2, 1 here and 2 here, then 1, 2 here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3rd, 4th, and 5th up here, and 4th and 5th. So still climbing to the upside there. If we go from 20,000 ticks to 1,000 ticks and just pull that apart for a moment, we'll get a bit of an eyeball at that. Let's just bring in some more data here. So that brings us into this wave 4 at this point. And we've got 1 and 2 here, and then we've got 1 and 2 here. So this counts up here as 5 waves in here for wave 1 and 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 here, and then 5 waves in the 3rd wave, 4th wave, 5th wave for the 3rd. The 38.2% retracement level is down around the 69,000 here. So wave 4s can get a bit sort of, a bit tricky. So this may play out a little bit differently here, in terms of all of this could just be an A wave here, and then a B wave coming into play here, and then a C wave coming down and then up. So just be a little bit mindful about that. It may not be the case, but you could squeeze 5 waves, 1, 2 here, 1, 2, 3, 4 in here as an ABC, 5 for the 3rd, and ABC for the 4th, and down for the 5th. So we could play it out as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here, and then move up. So basically it's snaking its way across the 70,000 here. So it's trying to develop support on that level. And yeah, so but yeah, anyway, all good to the upside. The other thing we're looking at, we're being long in, is Doge coin here. So also an A and a B and a C here, the same as Bitcoin. In this case here, you can actually see we've got 1, 2 here, and 3, 4, 5. So we've got a beautiful 5-wave structure here for this. So it's a bit tricky to see that in Bitcoin. So anyway, from the 15, which is a medium level here, up to the major level, which is 20 cents here. There will be some sideways pattern across that 20, well, obviously the old highs here as well. You can just, you're going to see some sideways pattern across that large number before seeing some more upside here. Currently it's sitting in minor group 2 here, 65, 72 and 80 in here. Now that it's secure in here, it will push up higher, but it still needs to get through these old highs here, which is always a job and a half. But anyway, that trade's going quite well. We will adjust that stop there on that. Now we move over to the to the US dollar bonds and yields, and with the US dollar here, so we've got, the way I'm looking at this at the moment is down for the A wave here, and then an A, B, C for the B wave here, and then down for 1 and back for 2 here. So in this case here, it's quite possible that it can just fail from here, but it's more likely that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave to push up here a little bit further, coming into the lower end of this supply here for this, and then rolling over at this point. So in supporting this particular pattern here will be the yield. So when we look at the 10-year yields here, we've got our all the way up from the low here. We have 1 and 2, and our 5 waves up here for 3 and 4, and up for the 5 here. So we're just looking for a very simple ABC correction in this space, and in that sense we've got the A wave here, and this will push up in line with the US dollar, and yeah, so I was just looking at this as wave 1 here and 2 pulling back, and then we'll have 3, 4, 5, so be the same as the US dollar, and up into the 50-60%, and then roll over. So the dollar and the yield should do basically the same thing, and while this is going on, we'll see the bonds do the opposite. So the bonds here, they've been coming down in 5 waves here for this, and down for the 5th. So here they've got an A wave, a B wave, and we'll go up for the C wave at that point. This is a little bit tricky in here, but we've got the A wave here, and probably a WXY here, because this is in 3 waves here to the 50-60%. We don't need that. And what we've got here, it appears that we've got 5 waves down here. So it's, it would be possible to put wave C of B in here, but the problem with based on that 5 waves there, but the problem with that is that we haven't made a new low here. So it's highly likely this is just wave 1, and we're going up in for a wave 2 rally here, and then we'll go 3, 4, 5, coming back into the 61.8%, around the 90 for the bonds, and then we'll see that push up at that point. So we're looking for 5 waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, which is the same as the yields in the opposite direction, and the US dollar as well. So they'll all sort of top and turn on that note. So really we could probably, looking at the dollar, we could tie gold into that particular pattern as well. So over to gold, we'll look at it here first. So basically we've been looking at it, I've been looking at it quite bullish as 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 here, and then looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for the 3rd wave here. I could probably extend this much higher as well. But anyway, we'll just sort of work through it. What we're trying to work through at the moment here is that we've got this little 5-wave structure here. So what we're trying to do is identify this little move, this pullback here, as a corrective move. It's still a little bit early to name that as a corrective pattern just yet, but because we'll still get this, we can look at this as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave down here. That's what I'm kind of thinking, and then we'll push up here further. So I could push this over to here, pull this into over here for a little wave 4 in here. Because wave 2 was complicated, wave 4 could be simple at that point. But all I need to do is identify a correction in there. So if I just go to my other charting program here, we've got wave 3 here, wave 4 here, and wave 5 to the upside here. So we can label that in here if you like, with the same as the other pattern there with wave 3. We're trying to figure out if we've got a little wave 4 in here. So what we do know at the moment, we can view this down here as 1, 2, 3 A, B, C for 4 and 5 here for the A wave, and then we've been looking for a B wave that pulled back to the 61.8%, retesting the closest largest number. And yeah, so we'll probably see where are we here, just get this working. So I haven't actually pulled this apart here just yet, so just take that with a pinch of salt, but we're kind of looking for something like this. And then even once it gets to here, anything below 5 waves here would be a larger correction to the downside. So wave 1 here and 2 up here and 1 and 2, so forth. But I want to see if this is actually a corrective pattern in here. But I won't know that until this finishes off here and all those sorts of things. So I need to be over here before I can validate this being, if we can validate this as a corrective pattern, then we'll be moving back in and we'll be looking to go up to the 2300 at that point. But we can't do that just yet. So but we knew all this right from the get-go once we got up to the top here, so we're just watching the paint dry at this point. Can we just continue to move up from there? Well, anything is possible, but this five-way structure here isn't, it's not the best, but it's sort of okay. It doesn't really matter. We wouldn't go long unless we had a classic trading levels pattern on the 2-2 here anyway, so we would need on this 2-2 here, we would need to see something like this across the 2-2 here, so we'd still need to wait for the first high above the level and then start working it down on that side. So it's just not there yet. We'll have a quick look at silver while we're here as well. We're going through the same thing here with silver. Let me just tidy this up a little bit. We'll probably drop down a bit further than this and put that over here, and in this case here, if we're going to line it up with gold, will probably be something like this here, so a 5-wave structure. So anyway, we'll just see how we how this plays out at this point here. But yeah, this is just snaking across the 25 here, and really this particular pattern here is what we'd see as a bullish pattern, the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level. So we're in this move over here for this, and we haven't finished that. We've got the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, so the ABC over here. So we've still got a little while to go before we can, we may need to call that in as a top, but I don't want to do that until I've got some evidence to move on. Okay, so that's the gold market, and just come back in over here, and what we've got to look at next is base metals. Let me just get my list up here. So base metals, we can look at well, we can look at first up is copper, and let me just go, maybe I'll just go into, it's a bit messy in there, let's just go to a 4-hour chart here. So what we're looking at here, where's my other charting thing here as well? I think I've moved that, it doesn't really matter. We also had a long trade in here, but I can't remember what we're going to do with that, but it doesn't matter. We're setting up for another long trade here. We've got 5 waves here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the 4-hour chart on the futures, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So 1 and 2 and 3 here. We're considering this wave 4 here. So we're just trying to find a way in here, and first of all, we had this sitting on top here, and then we brought it down to here. So we'll probably bring it down to this high here, but we'll update that in the portfolio. And we're looking at this being a corrective move here. It's probably the A wave, the B wave, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe even another low to come in here before we can peg this. But all we need to do is is buy a new high here for this. Okay, so that's that, and uranium's much the same as well. So with uranium here, we've got wave at the $30 mark for this ETF here. We've got wave 3 here with an A wave, and then an A, B, C for the B wave, and down to the C wave. So we're not, this will be 1 and 2 and a little bit dodgy, but waves this, and then we'll be interested in purchasing down here. This is an A wave, a little B wave, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the C wave, and then for the B, C of B, and then down, and we'll be interested in it over here. And then we come over to iron ore. So this here is on the Singapore exchange. So on the SGX, so this is a weekly chart, and looking at this here, first of all, we've got this here is in 3 waves here. So in the bigger picture, we know that one day we'll be taking the top out here. But in the meantime, we've got to figure out what we've got here. So we can look at this as an ABC for the A wave. We can look at this as some sort of ABC for the B wave here, and then down for the C wave. That would be one way to view this. Now, also, it gets a little bit sort of tricky because, you've got China and India now buying, a fair bit of iron ore, but China's the big one, and they've got their own mines happening in West Africa of high-grade ore, and I'm not sure where Brazil's up to with their communications with China, but I think it's reasonably stable. But the thing is, with the Chinese market, it's just changed so much because they have, they buy as a group now, all the steel mills buy as one buyer, so it makes it a little bit tricky. So with their pattern as an ABC down here, they don't this low doesn't come in on this one here, so it creates a slightly different pattern. So if I bring that into the fold, let me find it here somewhere, iron ore here. So this is there. So this move here doesn't come down to this particular low here. So this particular pattern, if I took it, look at it with, as a Chinese market, well, this is traded in China. So, to be honest, you could look at this in different ways. You could look at it as a triangle pattern, as an A and a B and a C and a D and an E, or we could go the A, the B and the C wave over here, and that may even be in 3 waves. It may even be 5 waves. It doesn't really matter. The point being is that there's a lot of pressure to the downside. There is a possibility that there is one bullish count where we can view this as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, but those sort of things don't really pan out that well. But as long as that little low here stays in place, then that's possible. But probably shouldn't be showing you this, but it'll be like this here. It's a long shot with an wave 1 up here with an A and a B and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the C wave of 2 here, and the long trade on that would be through here, so to speak. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of possible in a way, I guess, but it's a long shot, But the other point with this too is that when we have a look at, we just go here and have a look at the Chinese market. I want to have a look at indices here. Just bear with me for a second. Indices into here, and monthly chart, monthly. So this is the comp here for China, and we've seen this many times, but we just keep going over wave 3 with an A and a B and a C and a D and an E, and we're calling the low in here for that. So from the monthly chart into, say, a weekly chart to look at this last low section in here is the A, the B and the C wave, calling the low in here, and then going into the daily chart. So what I'm saying here is we'll get a lift off from here, because if this is correct here, then we'll take out that top there as an A, B, C, D, E and wave 4. So I feel that, no matter what the sentiment is in China at the moment, I feel that there's going to be a change, and it's showing up here, so when I go to the daily chart here, we are starting to see an impulse wave to the upside. Not that we trade this, but just putting that on the top there. But looking at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here is what we've been sort of considering. Now, the more support that it gets on here and takes out, the fact that it takes out a high here now that it's tested back here would put it into a bullish pattern. Now we may get this here as some sort of ABC pattern here and move up, or we could just go straight. But taking out that top there is telling me that we are now in a bullish phase, and you can see the volume in here quietly here. So there's probably a good case to consider iron ore could go up things could change, you know, but it's a bit of a long shot. We'll see how that plays out. So I don't need to look at nickel and all of that. We did that yesterday. So we do want to have a look at the energy side of things. So I need to go to crude oil here. So on the crude side here, maybe I'll just go to my other chart here to grab that crude oil. So with crude here, you know, crude's going to follow the dollar up, and the dollar's got a little bit more to go up as well on that. So what we got here though, off the low here, we've got pretty much a corrective pattern within this space here. The rest of this can be counted in different ways. I always thought that what we'll do is we'll just wait and see. We don't want to be long or short. We are long in ExxonMobil, Alessio's trade. We're just going to see how the market sits around this number here, if it becomes the support or the resistance. So we don't need to do anything just yet. It's quite possible that this low here can be 1 and 2 to here. It could also be that we have this as an A wave, a B wave, and we come down to here, and then we have a 3, 4, and 5 up here to finish it off. Now, if this becomes the retested resistance here for the bearish side, then we will need to see a pattern like this here. So it drops down below the 80. The first low below the level is not a big deal, but if it breaches that low, then it's bearish. It may come back up above the 80, and it may not. They could do this, but we just focus on that low there. That's the gist of it all. So we need that to turn bearish to create a top there. So I understand we're not at the 61.8% here just yet, so it can climb higher. And yeah, so not going to do anything here really, you know. But we can see ExxonMobil moving to the upside. I won't even bother going into that. I was going to have a look at natural gas now with natural gas. We're going to go to NYMEX here. Okay, so we need to go sort of weekly chart. Let me just go to a daily and cruise in here a little bit. There's a couple of ways to, well, this is it, sort of it here really. So from the top here we've got 1, 2 and 3, 4 here. We still need to come down for wave 5 here. Okay, so I'm just going to remove that there. Now we've had NYMEX jump at that point, and we need to talk about that a little bit. So we're going to go in and just have a look at the different. So the takeaway here is that we still need another low. Okay, so that's the important point. So the second thing is going into the smaller side of things here. So we're in a 4-hour chart, and that's the wave 4 up here. So what could this be here? Well, it could be that it could be, I think Sammy has got this here as 1 here and 2 over here, and then 3, 4, 5 here. So I'll just drop that down a level here. So he's got this here as the A wave, a B wave, and a C wave to this point. I think he's got it like that. So then it'll come down for, 3, 4, 5 coming down here for that. So that's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is quite simply having this as an A wave here, B wave here, and a C wave here for wave 4. So we'll need to drop that down from primary into minute here, and then that means that this would be wave 1 here, back for wave 2, 3, 4, 5 up here when we put wave 4 over here. That's quite possible at this point. It's doable, but we still know it needs to come down. It's quite possible that we could view this here as a triangle, because that always happens here too, an A, B, C, D, and E over here, and then come down. So they're all the different things that can occur there. I don't know which one is correct at this point in time, but they're all the possibilities that can play out at the moment. So I don't know which one is correct, but I do know that we still need to make a new low here. It's just how that's going to play out in the marketplace here. So that's that. That's the commodities. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.